Welcome to the sizzling world of love, lust, and laughs, and more importantly, desire. This is Desire Dialogues. Get ready to dive into an electrifying podcast hosted by yours truly. Have you ever wondered why your love life feels like a lukewarm cup of coffee? Ugh. Fret not. I'm here to sprinkle on some easy, practical advice and solutions to spruce things up. So we'll be diving into the pool of common struggles. Join me while we flip through the pages of love, turn up the heat on passion, and discover the secret sauce to fulfilling a spicy love and sex life. As a professional seller of sex toys since 2013, I ended up seeing that there was a gap when it comes to fulfilled relationships that you can't just really throw sex toys at to repair and enhance, right? I help individuals and couples authentically express themselves for a more harmonious relationship and sex life, whether alone or with a partner or partners, without fear of judgment and shame and old beliefs. Let's talk about the G-spot. All right, listeners, we're going to chat today about the G-spot or the G area. We're going to look into anatomy that can possibly really help you get a better understanding of what is happening inside the vagina, if you are a vagina owner or vulva owner, or if you're in a relationship with a vulva owner as well. The thing is, I hear so often that, okay, I haven't been able to find it yet. Am I broken? Oh gosh, golly, no, you're not. Promise. So we're also going to give you some practical tips to really be able to explore this area within your own body or a partner's body for more ecstatic pleasure. There really hasn't been a lot of, pleasure education and simple, practical ways to be able to locate this spot, to be able to experience the full velocity of a G-spot orgasm, and plenty of exploration is possible for you with a partner or partners, and it's easily accessible after you learn a little bit more about what's happening in the body and when the G-spot is going to be most easily found within certain positions, and a few, tips for your body to be able to find it best before you go exploring. So you can explore this with fingers or a trusty toy. So let's get into it. All right, so you're asking yourself possibly, okay, what the heck is a G-spot? So the G-spot is actually also called the Grafenberg spot. This was named after a German gynecologist, Ernst Grafenberg. Please forgive me if I'm not pronouncing it correct. So the G-spot is characterized as an erogenous area of the vagina that, when it's stimulated, may lead to strong sexual arousal, powerful orgasms, and potential female ejaculation. So, hey yo, aka squirting. It's like a broken sprinkler system, in my opinion. There's a lot of back and forth between different sexologists and researchers on where it's located. There is certain studies that say it's, 2 to 3 inches up, 1 to 2 inches up. In my opinion, it is typically located 2 to 3, like one finger. Okay, so if you were to take your fingers out in front of you, okay, so you're looking down at your whatever hand is your dominant hand, right? It's probably the one you put out. It's going to be about like a knuckle up, okay? If you put your fingers in that come hither motion. So the G-spot is located on the front wall of the vagina, the anterior wall. So the thing with that is it's about like 5 to 8 centimeters. So everybody's going to be located a little bit differently, all right? And when it's on the front anterior vaginal wall, this is going to be between the vaginal opening and the urethra, all right? It's also this sensitive area that could be considered to be part of the female prostate. So the existence has been like back and forth. if it's even there. You know, even though it's been studied since the 1940s, there's a lot of disagreement over its existence as a distinct structure, you know, the definition of this and its location. Here's the deal, though. I really want you to keep in mind, okay? I hear a lot as a sex coach that, you know, women are concerned that they're dysfunctional if they cannot or do not experience, you know, this G-spot thing that we may have all heard about, right? And it's so glorified, my gosh. And they just think, you know, something's wrong with me. So when the body is in the arousal state, okay, the blood is flowing. The blood is pumping down to the genitals like, hey, let's get ready. Here we go. And it actually takes about 15 minutes for a vagina to be properly lubricated for insertion, penetration, intercourse. So keep that part in mind. The more blood flow that is rushed to this area, this G-spot is actually going to enlarge itself. So it can be stimulated because it's like, bitch, don't miss me, right? With that, if you were to go explore, all right, or if you have ever been being penetrated and had this feeling that you're like, oh, I think I have to urinate. So you go to urinate in the bathroom, you sit down, and nothing happens. Ayo, you just gypped yourself out of a G-spot orgasm. So this is the thing. It puts pressure. As it enlarges itself, it puts pressure onto the bladder. All right. This is also called, I've heard, the urethral sponge. So the thing is, for, you know, some vulva owners, stimulating this area creates a more like intense orgasm than the clitoral stimulation. The clitoral orgasm is reported to be 75% of, you know, clitoris owners need direct clitoral stimulation to achieve orgasm. Okay? So that does not include internal. All right? The G-spot really does need a lot of direct stimulation, such as 2 fingers pressed deeply into it with that come hither motion. So, you know, really attempting to stimulate this area through sexual penetration, especially in the missionary position, is difficult because of the particular angle that is required to be able to grab this spot. So really, the G-spot stimulation is best achieved with manual stimulation. There's also numerous sex toys available for G-spot stimulation that you will find will have this curved tip at the end with like a bulbous tip. All right, so it's really going to put pressure on that G-spot. All right, so if you're going to go exploring with the fingers, what you could look for as a texture type of material is it can kind of feel like the external piece of like a walnut. It has ridges. I've had a lot of clients as well as myself that like a very quick in and out pressure, in and out, okay? Really, really fast to stimulate the G-spot before possible squirting, aka female ejaculation. And then there's others that want pressure on the spot, but a very fast back and forth. All right, so a left to right. It's really going to depend on the G-spot owner. All right, so here's the deal. Since it's on the front wall of the vagina, a few great positions could be on the back with the legs up, with a toy, with fingers. Or if it's with a partner, you could be doggy style, and the more that you arch your butt up, the more accessible that person is to go in behind you with 2 fingers. Okay, so their fingers would be like pointing down to the floor. They curve them, all right, with a come hither motion, except the come hither motion is kind of, you know, it's going to be the other way. I'm sitting here doing it next to my laptop, like that is going to help you at all see what I'm talking about. However, you can always email me and I can utilize my fingers in a way, in an image where you could understand a bit more clearer if need be. Please, always open for the emails and the questions. I am gathering right now some frequently asked questions to have a frequent asked questions episode for all of y'all. So with this G-spot, I've noticed and I've heard from numerous clients that, okay, when this sensation comes on, they shut themselves down because they don't want to pee. And a lot of that, I think, comes from shame. Like, you don't want to make a mess. You don't want to do something you're not sure if your body is able to do. So really obtaining that first G-spot orgasm is that like threshold. Once you cross the threshold, you'll recognize the feelings that come before it. You'll recognize different ways to really feel more into what's happening so you can relax more to actually be able to release more fluids. If you release fluids, you can have a G-spot orgasm / release. Some people do describe this as just an intense release, not necessarily an orgasm itself. For me, it's personally a release, and it is accompanied with fluid. So the question in your mind is, wait, is this pee though? Since these fluids are coming from the urethra, there can be traces of urine, but no, it is not all urine. Sex is dirty and messy and it's beautiful. It's all beautiful. So drink a lot of water. Those are my tips. Drink a lot of water. That's the first one. The more hydrated you are, the easier time you're going to actually have being lubricated for anything. All right, any type of play. And the more water you have, your body's going to be able to excrete more fluids. The second tip is going to be a bit of a mindset. All right, I really want you to not focus so much on what's about to happen in your body, but instead take a nice deep breath and bring awareness with each breath down to your genitals, to the G-spot, to the place that has that intense pressure on it. And you can imagine it, if you want, if you're a visualization type of person, you can imagine the exploding of this. It will be this giant buildup, and you can have numerous squirting episodes in one session. That's a very neat thing about the G-spot. And basically it's till like, oh, okay, I got nothing left. Nothing else is coming out, but I'm still able to feel that release. So the third tip is, if you are concerned about making a giant mess, totally normal, totally understandable. You don't want to have to change the sheets every time after playtime. You also don't want to have to put 3 towels under you, if you are a marathon squirter. High five. My biggest tool and best bedroom essential item is an extremely absorbent, machine washable, velvety, soft, smooth blanket. This is called our Sexy Throw blanket. I'll link that in our description, so you can definitely get yourself one of those. This thing is so luxurious and takes away any concern about making a mess. Easily able to be traveled with, thrown on your friend's couch. No one will ever know you were there. All right, so drink water. Really focusing on your body without shame. Okay, make sure you pee before too, so you can really kind of help get that mindset out that you're gonna pee, because you won't. Third, get something to put underneath you so you're not too worried and concerned about the environment, and you're more able to really be comfortable with what's happening in your body and what's about to happen. This is not going to be something that you go ahead and try to do the first time and you're able to get it. That's okay. That's okay. So, for me, my first time experiencing G-spot orgasm was actually through I think I was in Mexico, honestly. And I was trying to be good, not have sex with any random strangers, right? So I was in my hotel room and I was just horny, right? Oh, beautiful people all over the place. So I am literally just my fingers. I decided, I'm like, you know what? No sex toys. Let's see how long we can just play. So it was probably 20 to 25 minutes of external stimulation with my fingers while I paid attention to my inner thighs, because you can bring blood flow there and awareness to that area on the inner thighs and up and down the vulva lips. And you're able to notice too, if you ever want to notice when your body is most enlarged, all of the sex organs are going to enlarge themselves when they're stimulated, right? The clitoris will get enlarged. Your vulva lips will have a rush of color and get darker in color as the blood rushes down there. And the G-spot itself is also going to enlarge itself and get moist because the body's getting primed for sexual activity. So, if anything, you grab yourself a mirror and you can insert 2 fingers inside the vagina and you're able to actually see the G-spot. It's going to look like a different texture than the vaginal wall itself, which is very neat. So if you want to go explore, go explore. If you're a visual person, you need a little bit help looking, it's super fun. I truly challenge you to go ahead and take a look, especially if you thought to yourself, oh my gosh, I've never looked. I'm never gonna look. Please look. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And it's yours. And you do not need permission to explore, to enjoy, to be in awe of this beautiful part of your body. So, G-spots are different for so many different people, all right? And exploration tends to be the best way. You never know what other new things you'll notice or like when it comes to exploration of anything. So it's always a time for learning and growth, and give yourself permission for pleasure. A little bit more on the G-spot as a separate part of the anatomy. This truly is actually a part of the clitoral network. So this means that when you're stimulating the G-spot, you're stimulating part of the clitoris, which is really much larger than we're led to believe. We tend to just think it's this like pea-sized nub, where the inner labia meet. It's only like the top of the clitoris, and it actually will divide into 2 roots, which kind of are like 2 legs. So like imagine a wishbone structure, a wishbone. And that can be about 4 inches long. So this region also can vary from person to person, which is why it can be so difficult to kind of locate. So however though, once that's stimulated, the G-spot actually can really cause that squirting, that female ejaculation, and help reach this vaginal orgasm. So a few positions that are really, really important that can really help is what I mentioned before with that missionary position and putting your knees up. Also, too, you can, also do the cowgirl position. So you can have your partner lay on their back, climb on top, and straddle them, with both legs. So this position is going to really allow you complete control over the rhythm, the depth, and the angle of any penetration, so you can focus on finding your G-spot. So instead of doing like the up and down, where you really, work those glute muscles and thigh muscles, try instead to move back and forth to stimulate the G-spot region against the inner front vaginal wall. So also mixing this up can really help. So don't be afraid to, experiment with different speeds and angles. So with the missionary position, there is a variation called the closed missionary position. So it's classic missionary that's going to allow for greater stimulation without the depth of penetration, because again, it's not that far up, okay? Imagine the come hither motion with your fingers. It's like a knuckle deep, up to 2 knuckles deep. So you may want that, shallow penetration. It's going to create a tighter feeling with more increased friction against the G-spot. So you'll start on your back in missionary position before moving your legs together. Then your partner's legs should straddle yours, allowing for this tighter squeeze. So honestly, just find what works for you, despite what you see, in the movies. That very quick, bam, we're done. We both finished at the same time. Wow. No, that doesn't happen. So that's the thing. There's no rule. There's no one way to orgasm. It's really a combination of efforts and finding what works for you. Doggy style as well is another one. That's going to help you achieve, deeper penetration, but it's easier to vary the angle with your hips to hit that G-spot. So you start on your hands and knees with your partner behind you. You can lean down on your forearms a bit to push your hips like backward to change that angle. And just, see what feels the best, You can also lie flat on your stomach with your legs hanging off the bed. And, usually your partner's a little bit taller sometimes than me, so it helps, which allows my partner to like stand behind and penetrate me from there, but in a downward angle to reach the front wall of my vagina. So really, really important, okay? You can use a come hither motion. You can, up towards the belly button. You're not trying to like hit a specific button or an area, but finding like what feels best for your body, like in that general region. The repetitive motions of the back and forth, the in and out is really going to like help, really build up the sensation as well as bringing increased arousal to the G-spot, which it will, like I said before, get enlarged. So it's like a yeah. So orgasms are not like a one-size-fits-all. There's no right or wrong way to orgasm. So also to keep in mind, not everyone's going to find satisfaction through G-spot stimulation. So really, masturbation is so healthy. Upcoming is May. May is masturbation month. Boop, boop. So just really take your time to explore your preferences. And honestly, just reach out with any questions or concerns through any contact ways in the description. I'd love to talk to you more about finding this new spot for you. Honestly, just have fun with this. It really is fun. Taking time to relax beforehand is really important because it can be, difficult to find it. So you may already be stressed walking into the situation of going to I'm going on a journey to find my G-spot. So, it doesn't mean it's impossible, So instead of searching for it, during partnered sexual activity, it's really easier to locate it kind of through self-exploration on your own. So really, really set the scene for yourself too. If you're one of those, please, if you're a sensory person, set the scene, get some candles, get a blanket, put that down just in case. It's one less thing to worry about if you're going to make a possible mess, and just have fun. Happy exploring. Thanks so much again for listening. I would love it if you follow and subscribe to this podcast. It actually helps the podcast programs and platforms be able to recognize the sexuality type of podcasts. They're not necessarily easily searchable, so it would really help other listeners like you be able to get some really fun stuff in between their ears. So feel free to share it with a friend if you think they'd be into this too and learning more about their body, desire, and things to enhance their relationships with themselves or others. Also, all of my information to connect on all the socials, to order yourself some sex toys, are all in the link in the podcast description. Thanks so much, guys. Don't forget, pleasure is your birthright, and you don't have to ask permission.